The key figures from the state that attended the discussion with the President include Ministers of State for Finance, Shehan Semasinghe and Ranjit Siambalapitiya, Senior Advisor to the President on National Security and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka, Secretary to the President Saman Ekanayaka, Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Secretary to the Treasury and Finance Ministry K. M. Mahinda Siriwardana, among other officials. Invitations were extended to prominent opposition figures including Sajith Premadasa, Anurakumara Desanayaka and S. Sridharan, leader of the Tamil National Alliance, with an open invitation for additional participants to accompany them. However, M.S. Sumanthiran was the sole participant from the opposition at this meeting.
The President had invited the opposition party leaders for a discussion on the IMF program. I was the only member of the opposition present today. I raised a number of concerns with regard to the IMF program that is being implemented. Apparently there will be another meeting directly with the IMF representatives, but today was the initial discussion with only the government. Primarily the concern that I raised was that there is a lack of transparency with regard to these recommendations that the IMF has made. The lack of transparency arises in this way that there are no published technical assistance reports of the IMF. With regard to revenue increase, I raised as example the question as to why withholding tax rate was not increased to immediately raise revenue. But based on the fact that there is the revenue authorities are not collecting targeted taxes, the VAT rate was increased to 18%, which affects all the people, particularly the poor in the country. Since I was the only member present today, they agreed to give it to me and also to any opposition party leader who requests for it. It is only after receiving those technical assistance reports, which hopefully will contain some analysis as to why IMF has made certain recommendations, that we can then decide whether this program can be supported or not. As it is, we are unable to support the IMF program for primarily for lack of transparency.
State Finance Minister Shehan Semasinghe spoke to reporters following the meeting.
It was only Mr. Sumanthiran joined from the opposition. Mr. Sumanthiran raised certain concerns and also needed certain clarifications on the program, and the President agreed to share the requested information with the Honourable Member, and the President also offered a further discussion if the opposition needs to discuss on this matter. But however, the feeling what we have is the opposition was looking for reasons not to join the meeting rather than joining the meeting and having a constructive discussion with the authorities and the IMF. But unfortunately, the other parties, the SJB, the Samagi Jana Balawege, the JVP, they wanted the sensitive information to be shared. But we are in the view that most sensitive information cannot be shared right now. The President is willing to facilitate a further discussion so that if the opposition has credible programs, acceptable programs, accepted alternative programs, the government is willing to discuss, and if changes are required, the President has very clearly said that he is willing to make the changes and introduce the amendments to Parliament.